On March 24th, 2017, Devin Booker had one of the best games the league has ever seen. Scoring the most points in a game since Kobe's 81-point performance that took place over a decade ago, Devin Booker went off for a franchise record 70 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and a block while maintaining a true shooting percentage of 68. Game score is a metric used to give a player a single number that grades their performance every game. It's kind of like a 2K teammate grade. But players like Larry Bird and Kevin Durant have never gotten into the top 100 game scores, despite having plenty of games it should be. Game score doesn't track a lot of things like ball movement, passes that convert to assists, shot contest, opponent field goal percentages, and much more. So players like Draymond Green, who are known to do a lot of things for their team but don't show up in the box score, also won't tend to have high game scores. Game scores are far from perfect, but they are the best stat-based method for measuring a player's performance that we have. So, based on this imperfect but very useful stat, we can see that 5 years ago, Devin Booker recorded the 6th highest game score of all time, and he is still only 25 today. There was only one flaw in his performance that resulted in a loss. To put it in perspective, this 40-point Russell Westbrook triple-double from the 2017 playoffs has a game score of 38.9. Devin Booker had a game score of 54.5 in the 70-point game. These are the players with game scores in the top 50. Keep in mind that blocks weren't tracked until 1973, and since blocks are a part of game score wasn't tracked until 1973. So players like Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, and Bill Russell had many great games that aren't counted. 2 of these players are under 25 today and are going to be a big part of the future of the NBA. Out of these 50 games, 47 of them resulted in a win for the players' team. The only players on this list to lose despite their historical performances are 23-year-old Trae Young, 25-year-old Devin Booker, and 27-year-old Giannis. These players are the future of the league. They're all likely future Hall of Famers, but in their best performances, they lost. Were the Suns really playing their best brand of basketball when Booker went off for 70, or were they looking to get their team a historic game? How did a 16-19 Hawks team lose to a 13-22 Portland team without Lillard? How did the 52-17 Bucks lose to the 44-25 Sixers with Giannis playing like this? This Bucks team finished with a 60-22 record, leading the Eastern Conference, and ended up exiting the playoffs in a close 6th game against the Toronto team that would go on to win the finals against the Warriors. Let's look at the top 20 playoff performances of all time. 6 active NBA players hold 7 of the top 20 performances. Former players have an 11-2 record in these games, while current players are only 3-4. On August 17, 2020, Donovan Mitchell went off for 57 points, 9 boards, 7 assists, and a steal against Jamal Murray and the Nuggets, while shooting with a true shooting percentage of 74. This netted him the 14th best playoff performance of all time with a game score of 45.1. Despite Donovan Mitchell's amazing performance, his team lost the game. Only 6 days later during the same series, Jamal Murray got his payback. Jamal Murray edged out Donovan Mitchell's game score by 1/10 of a point. Murray achieved a game score of 45.2 with 50 points, 11 boards, 7 assists, and a block, and he did this more efficiently than I could in 2K on rookie difficulty. Murray had a true shooting percentage of 75 on 18 for 31 from the field and 9 for 15 from 3. But wait, I think I forgot something. Oh yeah, Donovan Mitchell was the one getting payback.
Nice shot clock down to 4. Mitchell has Millsap on him. He'll pull a 3, and he hits a 3 and returns the stare down. Donovan Mitchell, a clutch 3-pointer for the Jazz.
In a league that has started to change basketball from a team sport to an individual sport where you give your best player the ball every possession and see what they can do, we have seen some amazing feats. Players like Stephen Curry and James Harden have changed the way the game is played. Scoring averages are going up. More players than ever are averaging high points per game. Take LeBron's rookie season, for example. 4 players averaged over 24 points per game. Last season, 18 players did it. In the 2011 to 2012 season, there were 8 45-plus point games. Last season, there were an unbelievable 41 45-plus point games. If that doesn't convince you, then this definitely will. 20 years ago, the Dallas Mavericks led the league in scoring with 103 points a game. And last season, the lowest scoring team in the league was unsurprisingly OKC. What is surprising, though, is that at 103.7 points per game, the lowest scoring team in today's NBA is outscoring the highest scoring team from 2 decades ago. Here's a chart of the top 100 game scorers chronologically. As you can see, they are exploding. Offense is undeniably evolving rapidly in today's NBA, but what about defense? As I mentioned earlier, defense is hard to measure in the box score, but I decided to give it my best shot. I'll be measuring teams' blocks, steals, rebounds, and offensive rebounding percentages. I know we're looking at defense, but offensive rebounding percentages are just the percentage of the total rebounds that are rebounded by the offensive team. Generally, these rebounds are more valuable and more difficult to get since the defensive players are often between the offensive players at the basket. Players who are good on defense tend to shine when it comes to offensive rebounds as well. As you can see, statistically speaking, defense is going downhill in the NBA. As the pace of the game increases and more opportunities arise for steals, blocks, rebounds, and shot attempts, the league is only evolving on the offensive end, which you would expect to create more opportunities on the defensive end. The more possessions there are, the more steal opportunities there are, the more shot attempts, the more blocks, but we're not seeing improvements on the defensive end. Here are a few of the league's best defenders and their salaries. These players give their team the most value on the defensive end. Now let's compare those salaries to some of the league's offensive giants' salaries. Do you see a difference? These players don't only get paid more by the NBA. They get more brand deals, more fan recognition. Their jerseys sell better because offense sells. In a league that monetarily values offense much more than defense, it's only natural that players are focusing on offense. The league is cracking down on the physical aspect of the game, and as this progresses, we continue to see declines in defense and record-breaking offensive feats every season. At this point, personal performances are starting to become more valuable than winning, and in turn, we're seeing amazing players accomplish great feats and bring tons of fans to the arenas, but at a lackluster winning percentage.